Welcome to Ebrix Gaming and Cards. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Warning, if you do not like playing a kill-on-sight commander, then steer clear of Storm, Force of Nature. For this deck, I took my Storm deck and mixed it with my Turns deck and created a monster. The strongest version of this deck can win by tutoring a creature combo directly to the battlefield. However, this will be an extra turns version, which can be unpredictable at times. If you prefer a super fast, consistent deck with easy and repetitive playlines, this might not be the best fit for you. When you cast a spell with Storm, the ability is put on the stack. When the ability resolves, copies of the spell are created for each spell cast before it in the same turn. These copies are placed on the stack in the order you choose, and they resolve one by one unless an effect counters them. We are going to try to get our commander out on turn 4 with one protection spell. This requires us to ramp turn 2 and/or turn 3. Our goal is to add Storm to either a draw spell or an extra turn spell. This will hopefully start a chain reaction of card advantage and turns that overwhelm our opponents. We are going with the 5-mana extra turn spells because we will have to cast at least one other spell to make the Storm trigger work. Isochron Scepter can be used as a value piece or specifically to bounce an extra turn spell back to our hand or to the top of our library to take infinite turns. Seasons Past can be used with a tutor to set up infinite turns. In this case, your combo will also help increase the Storm count, making it a powerful synergy in the right deck. I am not convinced that extra combat spells are better than extra turn spells, but I have included one source for playtesting purposes. I think it adds enough value to keep in the list. With our commander and key combo pieces selected, we have 16 cards in our deck. The next thing we are going to look at is tutors. We are including a total of 7 tutors. Merchant Scroll can be used to get interaction or a better tutor but is limited. Mystical Tutor can fetch any of our turn spells, and Muddle the Mixture can search for our 2-mana artifacts. Personal Tutor can fetch any sorcery. Solve the Equation is a tutor that brings a spell directly to your hand, and if you cast it with a Storm count of 2 or 3, you should be able to win on your next turn. Fabricate can search for our artifacts. Bring to Light is decent in this list, but if you improve your mana base and can consistently generate 5 colors, it becomes a game-winning spell with Storm. With all 5 colors, you can cast an extra turn spell and a tutor for Seasons Past. The next thing we will look at is ways to ensure we can get our Storm count without draining all our resources. Dramatic Reversal can act as a free ramp spell or go infinite with Isochron Scepter if you have enough mana rocks. Gitaxian Probe is a free spell that replaces itself. Frantic Search is free and gives you some card selection, but it's not a good choice to Storm with unless you have a lot of cards in hand. Manamorphose can replace itself and Mana Fix. Jeska's Will only makes red mana at sorcery speed, so you have to plan out your Storm turn carefully. Strike It Rich can help fix a red mana or give Bring to Light the 4th or 5th color. Crop Rotation can be free and helps fetch any land. Snap is a free spell that also bounces a creature. Double Strike has been huge for Storm because it is more efficient than trying to just get a big Storm count. It also helps with commander damage. Gavel of the Righteous can provide repeatable double strike and increase your commander's power for lethal damage. Now that we have our core cards, we will look at the ramp package. We have 16 ramp cards, and this is because we need to cast our commander early and potentially multiple times. Soul Ring, Tinderwall, Elvish Spirit Guide, and Simian Spirit Guide are all mana positive. Meanwhile, Birds of Paradise and Wild Growth can serve as turn 1 ramp options. We then add the Signets, Talismans, and Everflowing Chalice for solid turn 2 and turn 3 ramp. We also include Nature's Lore and 3 Visits because they can fetch any forest untapped and can be cast with Storm for a huge mana advantage. To complete our mana base, we will add 31 lands. With the 16 ramp spells, that gives us a total of 47 sources of mana. During my simulations, the vast majority of the time I was able to get my commander out on turn 3, but I would often wait until I had some sort of protection. The first 4 lands can help us get any of our colors. Exotic Orchard is particularly useful for enabling Bring to Light. The next 4 are the lands that require life to get colored mana. The next 3 lands are the fast lands. For this deck, we need to ramp early, so these work great. The next 3 lands are conditional lands that check for a specific land type to come into play untapped. For this deck, this was generally not an issue due to our high basic count. The next 3 lands are a filter land, utility land to help our commander sneak in for combat damage, and a target for nature's lore. For basic lands, we will add a total of 14. With our mana base completed, the next thing we will add is 11 cards that can help gain card advantage. The first 3 are each unique. A turn 1, Mystic Remora is hard to mulligan. Overmaster is great and often draws out interaction, while Renegade Tactics can draw a card and allow your commander to get in for combat damage. Obsessive Search, Opt, and Quicken are here primarily for the draw and to add to the storm count, but they also have unique abilities. Chart a Course, Preordain, and Thrill of Possibility are all great on a storm turn and can fuel you for a win on the following turn. The 2 baubles can help early game to replace themselves or be used during your storm turn for a free spell. The last thing we will add is interaction. Your commander will be a kill-on-sight commander. Keep in mind that if opponents are casting removal on our turn, it only helps with the storm count if we can counter it. The first 2 spells can save us from removal that cannot be countered. Sink into Stupor can also be played as a land that enters untapped, which helps to lower our land count by 1. We do have a variety of counter spells, but Fierce Guardianship is great because it can be tutored and is free when your commander is on the board. During simulations, I also countered one of the baubles with an Offer You Can't Refuse to get 2 treasures and have a storm count of 2. Other protection spells can pump up our commander and make them hexproof. This is super effective when an opponent tries to remove our commander on our turn. Swiftfoot Boots can provide hexproof and haste. Be careful with Shroud because you cannot target our commander, making our double strike spells useless. Finally, we have Lightning Bolt, because what is more fun than storming off and killing our opponents with a lightning bolt? The next section will discuss some cards that I either included during testing or cards that are worth testing. Interaction is vital for this deck, and in a higher budget build, it should be upgraded second only to the lands that produce all 5 colors. Combat phases. I think extra turns are superior to an extra combat, but I still have one in the deck for testing purposes. Cards that can untap a land are effectively free but add nothing else. I think our storm cards are where they need to be, so I removed these. Twinning Staff seemed like a win more card, but synergized well with Double Strike. Aetherflux Reservoir is a toss-up. Since we don't really have a dedicated win condition, if you can get this out, it might buy you enough time to set up a storm turn. And finally, Underworld Breach. I think these would be great includes, as every one of the pieces can add value. For this deck, I didn't want it to be a Breach deck, so I excluded this combo. If you have any thoughts on this list or better cards to include, please comment below. If you made it this far, thank you, and please consider subscribing, as that is the single best way to help this channel.